Guys, this is Michelle,
And this is Bridget,
and you're listening to our new podcast called
Twice the Chisme.
Because obviously we're twins and identical. If you are just watching, we are identical twins, 5 minutes apart. I'm the oldest, as you can tell, and we're always fighting. So
Yeah, you'll probably see that in the podcast.
exactly.
So we'll be covering everything in the Latin pop culture, WTF moments,
exactly,
and personal topics that surround the Latin community that nos da pena hablar.
And there will be a lot of Spanglish on this because we're from Miami. So please, just come along on the ride with us because we don't know what the hell we're doing and why we even started a podcast. But here we are with headphones on.
We thought we had a
looking
voice,
cool.
and
Yeah.
we're covering topics about celebrities that do not care about us. I have no idea who we are, but we do know about them. So, without further ado, vamos a empezar el show de
Twice the Chisme.
We almost forgot the name. Out recently that there's a lot of these reggaeton artists. Their reggaeton artist name isn't the same as their real name. And when we found out what their real name was, we were like, holy shit, wait.
So let's start with the first one that I saw. So Juanes. You know, you would think his name is Juan Esteban, right? So it is Juan Esteban, but it's longer than that. It's Juan Esteban Aristizabal Vasquez.
Aristizabal Vasquez.
Half of these reggaeton artists, Spanish artists, all have the longest names.
Hold on, Pitbull.
The next one,
wait. Let me say Pitbull. I didn't even know that this was this.
I know. I saw that yesterday.
Pitbull's his name just sounds like some guy that works at.
Where is it? I see it.
That works like. Where would he work at? Like at church or something. Armando Cristian Perez.
Like.
What a proper people's like
and then you hear his name.
Armando
That's such a proper Spanish
Perez.
This is a random one. So Chayanne, his name is.
Why'd you add Chayanne? He's not even a reggaeton artist.
But his first name is Elmer, and it just reminded me of the
Elmer Glue.
Yeah, Elmer Figueroa Arce. I was like, what?
Like,
I thought my last name was weird.
They saw him perform. He rose up to stardom, and they're like, nah, you ain't gonna be called Elmer. You gonna be called Chayanne.
And this one caught me off guard because I go, this can't be true.
Talking about Pitbull,
Prince Royce. His name is
bitch.
Joffrey, like Joffrey the
Prince Royce, Geoffrey
Royce Rojas.
Geoffrey,
like
Prince Royce.
I mean, I would change my name too if I had the name. But Daddy Yankee. It's just like all these artists. Their first name is just weird.
Girl, say the name, bro.
Ramon Luis Ayala Rodriguez. Like Ramon
Ayala Rodriguez.
Like grandparents should be named. Like you should already be old and be named that. Like you were never born a baby. You were born
an old person.
Yeah. Oh, Shakira. Well, you know what's so funny? Because Shakira's name, her first name is actually Shakira, but then her last name, it's weird. It's Isabel Mebarak Ripoll.
Does she have like?
Yeah, I think she does. I didn't do my research. I'll catch that on the next episode.
Yeah. Oh my God, Tito el Bambino. His real name is Efraín David Fines Nevares.
I can't.
Like, these are some old ass names.
I mean, no wonder they had to change their name. I would too. And I thought my last name, because I used to hate my last name. Like when I was little, I was like self-conscious because like they would call us out in elementary, and I
have a story here.
I was like, you know, when they would call each person like as the attendance, when it got right before it got to my name, I go, don't fuck it up, because every teacher always messes up.
Our last name is Honorato, right? Obviously, when you first read it, it's weird. Yeah. It's weird, Honorato, right? Some people would, like some of my friends would say un raton. Okay, let's go back to my story, right? So my name is Bridget, okay? And when I used to work at this dental office and I would talk to some patients on the phone since I worked in the front desk, some of them would want to ask for my name, right? And I would not give them, I would give them my name spelled out like this. Bridget. I would say it in a very American way,
she did
right?
That on purpose.
I just didn't want to say it the other way, right? So then I would say, sí, está hablando con Bridget. And I knew that they couldn't understand or even repeat what I said. So hold on, let me finish the fucking story. So I would say Bridget, and they're like, ¿qué? I go, Bridget. And they're like, no. They're like, ¿qué? And in my head I go, don't give up. Just keep saying until they get it. Just keep saying until
You're
they get it.
literally
And then
traumatizing these people.
And I go, Bridget, and they're like, eh? So I cringe when I have to say this in Spanish, but saying my name in Spanish is Brigitte. And it just irks me. But I'll tell you another story about my name, right? So there was one person who did not, he just couldn't, like, he never gave up. He was like, I do not understand your name. So I had to give in and say,
but if you know they
no, sorry, no, let me go back. He actually understood it in English, Bridget, and he thought that I said, oh, breathe, como respirar. Ah, okay. Sí.
You didn't tell me this.
No, because I forgot to tell you this, because I don't know.
Jesus.
I told mom and dad, and it was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. I had to hang up and tell my whole coworkers. I couldn't stop with that joke.
I don't think I ever got mine, like, because my name in Spanish it doesn't sound that bad. It's Michelle. So backstory of why we were named, why we're Latin but we're named an English name. My parents decided to freaking name me, Bridget, and my other sister, like famous actresses who are all blonde and beautiful.
So we have a younger sister as well, right? Her name is Melanie. Her name is Michelle. My name is Bridget.
So they called me for Michelle Pfeiffer, Bridget for Bridget Bardot,
and Melanie for Melanie Griffith.
And if you don't know who they are, Google them and you'll see how beautiful these women are.
Yes.
But in my head, I'm like, my mom and dad sat down one day and they go, okay.
I think it was mom.
I'm pregnant
it was mom.
with twins, and let's think about their names. Let's
think about this.
Let's call them these names who are
these sex symbol icons, or even
who
like
are all blonde.
No, it was mom. It was all mom. There's no way that it was that.
Do we look like a blonde? So J Balvin has been an advocate about depression and anxiety. I think he did an interview recently
with Becky G.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. In Becky G's podcast,
in La Sala podcast, where he just talks about how, you know, how he was feeling, like his worst moments, and how he needed to seek help and stuff. And that just brings me to my attention, you know. He's how old? I want to say like 35, late 30s, and just now he's
seeking help, like seeing a therapist.
And I think in the Latin world, especially being raised by Hispanic families,
there's a stigma with
it's not common. It's not common to go see a therapist,
because when they think of a therapist, like when parents think of a therapist, the whole Latin community, not the whole, but some. They think of it like, oh no, you're crazy, or you have problems.
But also we need to focus on the fact that in South America, in these Latin countries, they don't have their mental health, exactly. and you know, seeking therapists wasn't as big or like, you know, repeated like how it is now. Now we're appreciating way more than ever. We're understanding.
There's still baby steps to it. Of
course, but in these Latin countries, I don't see anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So you come down here in the U.S., right? And you go through specific traumas that's shaped you, and that's like caused you to, like, you know,
like childhood traumas, anything that's you have to let it out to someone.
Exactly.
And I just think that like studies about this.
I just think that we all need to seek a therapist, regardless of what we're feeling, or if we have, you know, bad thoughts or whatever. I think we should just see and talk to a professional, regardless, because it's
there's a lot of people in the Latin community that you hold things in. So it's either you speak it to your family and you get advice from them, and their advice is not always correct, but you believe them, or you just hold it in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we were growing up. It was like that. It was hard for us to vent, because we were always being judged by what, you know, we couldn't. There was a moment that we just said, I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna even like tell anyone anything.
Yeah.
And it was like that for years. And I think that's why it's hard for us to open up
and communicate.
Exactly.
You know? I mean, we still haven't even seen a therapist, and that's something that I still want to do now.
Yeah, and I'll say that I'm still scared. Like the thought of me booking a therapist scares me, because I have to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and it's with a stranger. You get me? It's with, I know that it's someone that's that's professional and has studied this for so long and knows what they're, you know, doing. But it's weird to sit down, talk to somebody that you
after
don't
28
know,
years,
and go over specific things that you've dealt with, that you may have put it in the back of your head,
and then you have to go relive that moment. And who knows, you might break down, you might, like, and you're doing that in front of someone that you don't know, like that's a big step to do.
Yeah.
And I commend everyone who's going to see a therapist, like, and especially our age, this whole COVID thing, like
Pandemic,
quarantine.
and it's really affected a lot of us because
Social media, we're always on our phones. I think social media is just taking so much of sucking up our energy.
I just think that it's good to talk to somebody before it gets too like intense and bad, to the point where you get really depressed and you end up having suicidal thoughts. You get me?
Which
you want to try to avoid that.
And I want to advocate that for men in the Latin community, because men grow up like, oh no, you shouldn't cry, you should suck it up, you know, you should be a man. Like I've heard that before now, and right now it's like we need to kind
break that stigma for our future.
And for men mostly, because we're talking about mental health in the Latin world, but I think we should kind of like focus it on men too, because there's a lot of men that go through anxiety. They're humans too. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you have more emotions than a man. No. We're both skin and bones. We're both made of the same thing. So it's just like,
I just think it should be brought up more. It should be brought up more in the Latin culture.
Exactly. And I think that's a big topic that like more people need to come out.
And in South, it's sad too, because especially in these Latin countries, you don't really have much help. Like like these Latin families don't have like insurance, or struggling to have insurance, or struggling to pay for somebody to like a therapist, because
a therapist it's $100 something the first visit, and without insurance, dude. And if you want to see your therapist every week, dude, some people can afford that, and I think we need to kind of make that available.
So there was a study that we had found online that found that most Latin and Hispanic families would deny the presence of depression or any other mental health condition in a family member unless they were unable to cope or the symptoms of the condition were life-threatening.
So that means that, like, if the person was like about to kill themselves, or
then you go and
they had
help.
a failed suicide attempt, then the family member would be like, oh shit,
also
he does need to, or she does need to seek therapy.
Also, I found out about a term that I had no idea it even existed, but so it's called familismo, and it says several studies suggest that the cultural value of familismo, or the collective value of family unity, can play a role in shaping and enforcing mental health stigma. So what is familismo, right? So according to Psychology Today, familismo is a central Latin cultural value. It involves dedication, commitment, and loyalty to family. Regularly spending time with one's immediate and extended family is part of familismo. So you're getting, you're built into a very, very strong foundation.
And Hispanics are always like bonded together like this.
So their suggestions, their advice really, really takes a hold on whatever decision that you want to make,
And that advice could be wrong, honestly. Like, but that like most Hispanic parents, they're always like, I'm right. It's because I want to. It's because I said so. It's because, but there's no reason towards that, There's just, I'm sure most of us who were Hispanics were freaking hit con la correa, or like la chancla. I'm sure everyone can remember a moment where they like were hit with a chancla or a correa. Because those were some tough times.
Oh my God.
You did not listen.
That shaped me. Oh, literally.
You had the marcas in your ass cheeks.
The people who don't...
You see, that's not a way to that's not going to make up someone...
reprimand somebody.
But back then it was that. And it's crazy to think about that happened before, because it's like, oh, so if you're a bad kid, you do something bad, you're going to get hit. But that makes them not want to...
I think that it like kind of like shapes you psychologically when you're young, because then you start to like get scared of any small things that you think that you could, I don't know.
I'm sure there's a therapist. I hope a therapist is watching this, and
we're no professional either,
exactly.
But
I'm sure they can tap into this and be like, okay, that's childhood trauma, and then they can get into the whole topic about that. Anyways, Selena Gomez came out with a new song recently. I guess so. The new album is coming out in March, but she just came out with a Spanish song with Raúl Alejandro. Baila, baila conmigo. And I'm not ranking on it. I actually like it. The only thing that I'm gonna say that is negative
why
in my
are
book,
people hopping on the Latin music, trend.
Well, Selena Gomez has
She has a Mexican descent.
so it's okay. But it
But
just
why wasn't she doing this before? Why is she doing this now? And
well,
I
yeah,
appreciate
there's a
it.
double
I
standard.
appreciate it. But for me, it's just like now that the Latin world is hyping up
and
itself,
people can profit off of that because I don't know if you guys know about this story, and if you're a '90s kid, you would know. If you watched the Amanda Show and Drake and Josh, so Drake.
How do we get to that topic?
Because we're talking about people hopping on the Latin thing.
But that story
Drake
is funny.
Bell, like he started singing, right? And
No, that's
in Mexico.
Well, hold on. Drake Bell changed. Let's just say this right off the bat. Drake Bell changed his name to Drake Campana, and even changed his nationality to Mexican.
Because he started doing concerts in Mexico, and he was like selling out. Right
Obviously,
away.
he couldn't fucking sell out here because he was just Drake from Drake and Josh.
Exactly, but he's learned Spanish from Rosetta Stone. I go, wait, what?
I just think it's
his
so
man.
funny.
If you go on his Instagram, it says Drake Campana, and I'm like, he's literally he was like
no. But they knew he knew what he was. He's like, yo, if I can't make money here, and I mean,
people remember me as a freaking child star, I'm getting the hell out of here, and I'm going to Mexico.
It's just funny that Mexicans like look at him like they so apparently he sold out a concert, his first concert in Mexico. He sold out completely. So that to me is just like everybody over there, like, I don't know. Do you
it's another like demographic, but it's just so weird because it's like
what makes you think that you want to go and buy a ticket to go see Drake Campana or Drake Bell?
How do you get that so many, I don't know, fans from Mexico? It's just like from one day to the next. It was weird. Anyway,
talk about Bad Bunny on WWE. Like, who made this happen and why?
Well, he's also gonna show up in a movie that Brad Pitt is, I guess, directing or producing.
Yeah, but Bad Bunny
and he's coming out. He's coming out in an episode of Narcos.
I think Bad Bunny is being like the new J Balvin.
Yeah. I think
for sure.
But everybody loves Bad Bunny. I recently was on TikTok, and I saw this TikTok of a gringa. A gringa is a woman that doesn't know Spanish, but
I love how you
Spanish.
You're depicting.
I have to.
Okay.
Anyways, and she's like, I want to be on the side of TikTok where all my gringa friends like love reggaeton music, like, because we as Americans, we love reggaeton, whatever. And she was just going off on it. She goes, I love Lunay, I love J.
She was playing all these reggaeton songs and she was singing along to it. And I just thought it was funny because honestly, since we're Latin, I literally only know Latin people who listen to reggaeton.
Exactly.
Music,
we don't know any.
I don't think I know any, like a full-on American person, boy and girl.
That's like jamming to a song when I put it on.
Yeah, or like knows the exact lyrics.
Exactly.
That to me is just like, I thought it was funny. He was wearing like a Tego Calderon shirt, like one of Tego Calderon's old
And the
album.
way that it's just so funny because WWE, like in those moments that they're like talking to themselves with the other person, it's like a movie.
But
and
it's
then,
so funny.
Bad Bunny's he acts actually good on stage.
But I love when he was talking to them, and he just sounds like somebody from Narcos. I felt like he spoke like
he's like the Sofia Vergara in a man version, honestly.
In the music world.
Yeah. Like his accent.
And I think WWE is just so funny. Remember when we used to watch that when we were super young?
Yes. I remember we used
Do you smell what the rock is cooking? Remember elementary school? It was like, that was the hype. Every single person would say that. And
oh my God. And we grew up with a bunch of guy cousins. We barely had any girl cousins. So
we were following along their steps.
This is like a facade that you see of us, but we are boys at heart.
We're boys.
We are men. Honestly.
Oh, for sure.
Aside from the fact that we like whiskey, like that should tell you everything.
Yeah.
So, Premios Lo Nuestro
is coming up February 18th.
And guess who's gonna be performing here, man? I don't know if it's Selena Gomez is gonna perform the song with Alejandro. That's gonna be fun.
That's awesome though.
So if you guys
she's gonna be attending that.
We used to work the premios, the Latin Grammys as a talent.
Talent. Okay.
I was so afraid to say that because it just sounds so weird. But they have to name it like that.
It's
talent escorts.
Escorts. And what is that? Talent escorts, just to put it with you very, very, very bluntly and very, very upfront, we just guide the artist from point A to point B. You got to go to on stage at this time.
But you're right next to the artist.
I got to tell you where to go and where to go. Okay? And
they gave us one day to walk around the whole American arena. So sometimes we had to wing it, and I don't know. It was kind of nerve-wracking because I had
we've had different artists that we've been assigned to.
I was assigned Jesse and Joy, and oof, they are
I was so jealous that you had them.
People. Like there's the music that they make. It depicts in their personality. Like that's
They're
how
just
they are
humble
in real life.
people.
They never asked me for anything. I think she only asked me for tape for one thing that she was gonna wear in her performance, and that was it. And she was super sweet to me, and both of them were super sweet. They're amazing.
Oh my god, I had Ricky Martin, and I will never.
Oh yeah,
forget
you told me.
They had to switch me out to somebody else which I don't mind, Daddy Yankee, but Ricky Martin, he's just okay. Let me just explain something. I've never seen a manly, godlike physique like I did with Ricky Martin. He's just this tall glass of water.
I remember
his hands and his
and
arms are just long, and I had to guide him for rehearsal, and I did. Super nice guy. When he got off the stage, he was so nice. He goes, "Did I do good?" And I go, "I'm like, you did amazing." My heart would drop. I'm sure that you don't need to know that. And he started laughing, and he's like, "No, I was so nervous." And that's
he's talking to you like he just became an artist.
I swear to God, I was star. I go, after that day, I go, you know what? If whoever screwed me over that day, like any fucking guy that like just like ghosted me or whatever, you guys can do this, because I was with the man of my dreams.
I think he was just acting so sweet. Like, who says that as an artist?
I think
to someone he doesn't even know.
He's a very humble guy, and he made me feel so, I don't know, welcoming.
I'll tell you who's not humble. This might blow up. I don't even know. I don't care. Maluma. So
you told me
we were all assigned. Every artist is always assigned a talent escort, but he's apparently he didn't want anyone to walk him. He was suppose he's a diva, whatever. I get to the stage to drop off Jesse and Joy to perform, and I see Maluma on the side. And
with who was he with?
I think
he was dating.
Some girl.
He was dating. He was dating this girl. He was dating the
whatever. I don't know her name,
Maluma,
but I don't know her name. He was with a girl, so
he was with Natalia Barulich.
Okay, I guess it was her. I don't know. I don't remember. So me being starstruck, I go, and and he depicts himself as like a nice guy on TV. I'm like, I'm gonna ask him if I can take a picture. So the moment that I walk towards him, the girl next to him,
Natalia Barulich,
she's like, she didn't even let me walk. She put her finger right in front of me, and I felt so crappy. And then I turn around to walk away.
Did you ask him for a picture?
And I'm standing to wait for my artist, my talent, and I look at them and they're laughing, and I go, oh man, whatever. I mean, I understand you don't want pictures,
Michelle,
but the way that
I'm sorry, you don't understand. That's you shouldn't treat somebody like that.
He's a huge diva.
If you've taken anything from the show, please don't hesitate to, if you want, screenshot this, put it up on your Instagram story and tag us so we can repost you. Also reach out to us if you want us to cover any other topics that you think that we should talk about.
And if you want to be a guest host on our podcast, we are more than welcome to have you here. And if you have anything that you want to reach out to us, any help, any advice on this podcast, because we have no idea what we're doing, go ahead and do it, please.